And we're on. Hello and welcome to podcast episode 118 of Rope Boxing, where the 2 days bring you a rather late edition to our reviews and previews this week. Obviously talking about the wonderful world of boxing. Half term up here, Dave. Well, it is for the most of the UK. It's a Friday morning, which is a rare one for me and you, mate, to be talking about boxing. It's the only time we could have got it in. We were supposed to have Mr. Jay Murphy on the show with us going back to Tuesday. I had to unfortunately cancel because of half-term plans and things like that. You've been doing your own bits and bats down south, so you couldn't do certain days. But we've managed to get here. We're here for now. And don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if I have to walk out the room every now and again because I've got about 7 kids in my house. So hopefully it can all run smoothly. But apart from that, brother, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm with you. Half-term's a bit of a nightmare. Mrs. works, I work, so the kids are at home. I've got dogs, I've got cats, so I'm forever on the phone to them saying, have you walked the dogs? Have you done this? Have you done it? Tidy the house, make sure you lock the door, lift the handle up when you go out. Because I say they don't lift the handle, anyone can walk in. So
where you live,
yeah, exactly.
And where I live, to be fair.
So yeah, I'm with you, mate. Busy week work-wise, but it is a 4-day week and a 4-day weekend and a 4-day week next week. So lovely stuff. Going to go do this morning. Got a bit of odd jobs to do. I've got to go. Car's got a puncher. I'm going to get that sorted. Come back and then I'm going to go and have a Good Friday piss up.
Hey, that's my next question. Are you in training, brother?
Yeah, with the missus and going.
Nice.
Yeah, we go to the local all the time anyway. So it'll be lively today because everyone's excited for Good Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll get down there this afternoon and welly into it. I've got Arsenal women's tomorrow, mate.
Yeah.
Arsenal Champions League semi-final. 2 of the teams of Arsenal in the semi-finals. That was as an Arsenal fan, it's not bad. So yeah, me and Lola got that at 12:30 tomorrow. Probably be hungover with that, but it's one of them things, mate. But yeah, it's nice to have a 4-day weekend, mate. What are you up to then? I see you got the kids there. What's your plan? You looking after all them all day today, are you?
Most of the day. I've got to go. I've got to take 7, I think, including myself, 7. I think I've got that right. Down to the swimming pool after. It's going to be absolutely manic down there. It was on. I took my lot on Monday, Tuesday. I've not long got up, so I'm struggling with the days. Anyway, all the kids are off, aren't they? So it's absolutely bedlam down there. It's free. You get up where we live, you get this kind of voucher code where the kids swim for free, which is really good. So everybody piles down there. But yeah, mine. I've been drinking every day. Anybody that follows me on Instagram, I've seen I put a pint a day up on the social media platform. So I'm every day drinking. That's what I like to do. And I will be having the missus is off as well. Obviously, it's Good Friday today, Easter Sunday. We're planning to go down Stourbridge Football Club. It's the girls and the guys, to be fair, their last game at the War Memorial Ground because it's being done up for renovations. Nottingham Forest are down there on Sunday. So they look like they're going to win the league. So the girls are going to get probably hammered, but we're going to try and make it a good occasion, if you like. There's a karaoke on and all that kind of thing. So when we do talk about a Sunday night fight coming up this weekend, I will have to catch it on the Monday because I'll be too busy singing, dancing and getting bladdered. So, I think both of our weekends are going to be very, very alcohol-fueled, brother. So looking forward to that. But you are here for the boxing. Go on in.
I was going to say, how much is it for a pint at that Stourbridge Football Club? How much are you talking down?
It varies from about £3.50 to about £5, depending on what you have. Well, just under a £5. So Guinness 9 times out of 10 is the expensive one. I think that's about £4.60, £4.50, something like that. But yeah,
it's mad to think that's like, I'm looking at it thinking, cool, that's cheap. Do you know what I mean? When we first started drinking, it was £1.99 a pint, and you're saying £4.60 for a Guinness, and I'm thinking, cool, that's cheap. Like it's mad world we live in.
Because I buy in rounds, it possibly is cheaper than that. To be fair, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. It might be nearer to £4.
Yeah.
You buy rounds, you don't really check, do you? You just kind of guess at it. But yeah, obviously you got your Carlsberg in there. That's piss water. I don't tend to drink. I have the Export or the Brooklyn Lager, and that's decent. That's about. I mean, that's $3.20, I think. So.
Well, when the Phoenix 5 make an appearance up there later in the year, we'll be shocked when we buy a round. Because everyone got their drink. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure this round's really cheap.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Mate. In October, my missus is having a big 40th birthday bash. We're talking about bashing. We'll talk about a bit of boxing bashing that happened over the weekend. Now, this was happening on Sunday, early hours Sunday morning, Saturday night for those in the States. It seems ages. It seems it's all been forgotten now. Obviously, I've written on the screen there, ladies and gentlemen, polished boots for Ennis. I'm talking about Boots Ennis against Stanionis, the unification fight of the weekend, IBF, WBA belts on the line. Ring Magazine, my favourite belt as well, was on the line to basically see who is the daddy of the division. It was 1 versus 2, whichever way you wanted to look at it. Me and David spoke before, not just us, comments on social media talking about Boots. Is he that guy? Since he's gone to Matchroom, me and Dave have kind of highlighted, yes, he's got the wins, but he hasn't looked good doing it. He's kind of been laboured or plodded or just done enough, if you like. Stanionis is a very, very tough challenger. You know, a legit champion in his own right, very inactive at times, but he is the challenge. No matter what happened on Saturday night, we'd come away and we will speak about it now. Who is the daddy of the division? And I put there, Dave, polished boots for Ennis. So the question I want to ask you, and I'm not going to poo-poo anybody because Boots for me was fantastic on Saturday night. He really, really was. But was that a masterclass by Boots Ennis, or was that a rubbish version of Stanionis, mate? How did you make of it?
No, I thought it was a brilliant performance by Boots. Now, I said to you last week, it's going to be the manner of the victory that will determine what everyone thinks of Boots. And I don't, he has had criticism, and I don't want to criticize him after performance. Like I want the positive side of that, because one of the commentators, and I sort of agree with him. Does Boots fight to his level? You know what I mean? Where he could, we say about Tiafimo, like struggles to get. It does look like he struggles to get up for fights because he's been labelled in his last few performances. He fought Karen, didn't he? Twice. 2 times. Can he get up for that? Could he be asked? Was he frustrated? And I feel that he proved that he's the best in the division, and he showed levels for me on Saturday night because he knew the challenge that was in front of him. Now, I think that bodes very well for the fights that he will go on to have. I feel like, he will raise his game to it. And for me, he was absolutely brilliant, mate. And this is and we said about breakout nights. For me, this is the breakout performance that he needed. And I think everyone seems to forget, because he's had 33 fights, it's how young he is. 27. He's 27 years old. He's now coming into his prime. But yeah, to answer your question, mate, I don't think that Stanionis was that bad. I just don't think that he could get any of his work off. I think he was just outclassed.
Yeah.
He was offset, but Boots would offset him with a double jab, fast hands. And the combinations from Boots were unbelievable. It was so sharp, so pinpoint. And I was in awe of that performance. Like I thought it was fantastic, mate. And I was sort of happy for Boots because he's had a lot of criticism, and people were on the fence as to, is he as great as people are making out? Does he deserve to have the name of the best? Has he had these performances? There was loads of questions, and for me, he answered them, and he answered them in style. He broke down Stanionis, people are so fickle. They'll turn around and go, he weren't that good, that sort of stuff. Was it like you asked the question? Did he have an off night? I don't think he did. I just think he was beaten to absolutely everything. He was just outclassed, and it happens, and his corner knew it as well, which is why the ending came when it did.
Yeah,
like I say, he couldn't get on the inside. He couldn't draw Boots into any type of fight. No. He couldn't do anything, and for me, it just showed levels. And we were saying this was a 50-50 fight before the fight, and we had every right to. But when you watched that fight, it was nowhere near, mate. There was absolute levels to it. And that was a brilliant performance from Boots. And now when you hear people talking, now we've seen a performance like that. Now I can jump on that and think, you know what? Yes. Where has this been? Now, the class of opponent that he's had up to the 33 fights there, and people have seen that and said he's great, but he's actually done it against a legit opponent for me now. A legit opponent, and made him look not amateur, he didn't, but just way too good for him. Yeah. And that's okay. But I thought it was a brilliant performance, mate. I loved what Boots was doing. He was switch hitting as well. Came out as orthodox, then he was going to southpaw. He just showed pure class. And like I say, the amount of punches that he threw as well. I like the work rate of him.
The volume.
The volume was amazing, and it was so accurate. And like I say, I was watching that thinking, this is the Boots we've been waiting for let's say years. It seems like he's been around for a really long time for the amount of fights that he's had. But yeah, I'm excited now. Now, I'm excited for him now. Like the Virgil Ortiz fight, all of the fights that were being spoken about. I'm like, yes, let's go. No, I'm on this. No, I'm on it now. Like, we're probably late to the party, but we said our reasons why. But after a performance like that, mate, I'm up for it now with him. I thought it was great. Really good.
I could tell. You're on the Boots train. Very excited by that performance. And I understand. Yeah. I can see why, mate. I did ask the question because when you said there about volume, the volume that was coming from Boots is not normally what we see from him. He kind of I won't say he waits, he doesn't rush his work and things like that, but he's normally more accurate and he picks his shots better. But there was a lot of volume, you are right, and I was surprised by that. But that amount of volume that was coming from Boots, that's what I expected from Stanionis.
Yeah.
I expected that amount of volume. I expected him to sit on the chest, and as you rightly said, he couldn't get any of his work off. However, when he was, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from Boots Ennis whatsoever. He found a blueprint to Stanionis as well by going to the body, that awkward European style when he's crouched, he found to find gaps, put him down, and he pulled him, his corner pulled him out. But when they pulled him out, Dave, being in a world title fight for 2 of the belts to become number 1, he didn't seem bothered. Don't get me wrong, he was hurt. He was quite clearly he was hurt to the body, but it's just his body language looked to me like somebody that didn't care. Now, I'm not going through any conspiracy theories. He got beat. He was outclassed 100%. I said it now. But going into the fight, there was talk of his missus dropping at any stage. Any stage, she was heavily pregnant. Now, did something go through his head? I'm playing kind of devil's advocate here as well. Was there something going through his head thinking, well, I'm taking a beating here and I want to be there for the birth of my child. I don't want to be in hospital. Am I just okay to be pulled out? And also, we didn't speak about this. Not many people spoke about this. And Eddie come out with a statement a couple of times last week saying that, now I think Eddie's lost money here, that Stanionis got the bigger payday on the weekend than Boots. Now, we know what company Stanionis is with. He's a PBC fighter. Al Heyman does not like taking belts out of PBC. So he's had to pay, fair play to Eddie, he's had to pay for his guy to go and get the belt by overpaying a PBC fighter. So he's on a massive, probably his career best payday, Stanionis. We won't see him again now. He's inactive as it is. We won't see him again now until 2026. That's a fact. But I'm just trying to, I'm on the same train as you. Boots was brilliant. He is the number 1 in the division, and he's on about. Don't get me wrong. He looked bad making weight. He looked dreadful. He looked gaunt. It looked ill. He looked Devin Haney with those gaunt eyes and things like that. But obviously, he didn't have to. He could rehydrate over 10 pounds because the IBF goes out the window when it comes to a unification, all that kind of thing. But I was more disappointed with Stanionis. I thought I was going to see a much closer fight. So do you know what I mean? I'm trying to kind of play devil's advocate for for what it is. But yeah, again, it was a masterclass for him. He's on about going for all the belts. Now, if he wants to go for Barrios, again, Eddie's going to have to pay for the roof because Barrios is a PBC fighter. And Al Heyman will not want to lose another belt from that stable. So I'm guessing, mate, that he might, if Errol Spence is knocking about doing nothing, he might keep it in-house with Errol Spence. Now, Boots' performance was world-class, and I totally agree. However, there was a couple of times in that fight where Stanionis did land overhand rights.
Yeah,
he caught him clean and he caught him flush. Didn't hurt him. It's clear he doesn't carry the power. The other champion in the division, and I maintain, and I said this the other week with Brian Norman Jr., nowhere near as good a fighter as Boots Ennis. Skill set, footwork, range control, nowhere near as good. But as we both saw, and we have seen in the past with Brian Norman Jr., that dude doesn't even sit down on his shots and he hurts you with a jab.
Yeah.
So if we do see the Brian Norman Jr. versus Boots Ennis fight, Boots is going to have to be defensively a lot better because if Norman Jr. hurts him, the legs are going to be wobbled. That's the only thing I can think, going forward with the other two champions. So
I agree with that. I agree with that. Like I say, defensively, he is open to a big shot. Like I say, he threw 2s and 3s and got caught with an eye-catching shot that, that the judges would score. And he's always had that labelled at him. He does take too many shots. So that is something he needs to work on. And yeah, with Stanionis, the reason why I don't think Stanionis, he couldn't get his work off because he was offset by Boots' jabs. So every time he went to start, to plant his feet to try and get on the inside, the jab would just offset him, and he'd have to start again. And then when he goes, so that was the jab that was the key for me in the reason that Stanionis couldn't get in close and try and draw him into a fight that he wanted. But yeah,
you are right. You are right. I'm just trying to make kind of reasons or excuses for him,
Yeah, sometimes you can nullify that, get under the jab, slip under and land your shots. He couldn't do that because Boots would take a step back if he tried to lunge in. But Brian Norman Jr. I like Brian Norman Jr. and I think you're the same. So and he does carry power. So
I don't think he's technically great. That's what I'm saying. He's an email champion as well. So
but again, there's improvement for him as well. There's room for improvement in him. He has. He by the time I don't very imagine they'll fight next. But by the time they do get to fight, he would have had a few more under his belt, and he seems to be improving after every fight. Brian Norman Jr. So by the time they get there, it could be a different story. He could have tightened up on some of his flaws. But there's one thing he does do is carry power, and Boots is susceptible to an overhand right, a big shot. He does take big shots. I'll make for an interesting fight. I'm with you with Barrios. I think Boots beats Barrios comfortably, but it's whether he can get that fight made. But again, it's exciting. And now, like I say, going back to what we said before, Boots has now, for me, had a breakout performance against a legit opponent. And like I say, you'll probably see, like Stanionis, people are saying, it wasn't a great performance by him. And I think that Boots made him look like that. But if you watch him, he'll fight again, like you said, probably next year. And you'll see the reasons why he was so good originally. And then you think, and then Boots' performance will, wow, that wasn't, people will come back and say that was actually a really good performance. Look at Stanionis here. Do you know what I mean? So it will, it would last the test of time, that performance for me. So no, it was great. And like I say, there's excitement for me around Boots. I was always on the fence with him. So there's excitement for me now. And now I can say, I want to see who he's going to go in with next. I want names, and again, you say it quite a lot. No more backward steps. I don't want to see someone we're not so sure of, and with a record that suggests that he's got one loss or that to try and justify an opponent. I want to see him in now with names. If he wants to unify the division,
Eddie's going to have to pay. Eddie's going to have to pay.
Politics usually get in the way, but I want to see names. I really do want to see names. And then again, you said it there. He has to move up at some point in the future. In the near future.
He looked dreadful. He looked dreadful going into the fight on weigh-in day.
And the fact that he was already talking about going up against Virgil Ortiz a little while ago on a Riyadh card suggests that that's in their forefront of their mind anyway. So they're probably going to try, and if they want to unify, they're going to have to do it quickly. So it is going to have to be back-to-back champions because if he won't be able to keep doing it.
It's going to cost Eddie a few quid, this, mate. But he backed him last weekend, so I'm guessing he's going to back him again.
To be fair, with performances like that from Boots, I know it's been a bit of a slow burner for Eddie Hearn, but if he carries on the way he performed like that, he will be the star that Eddie Hearn has got on his stable, and then the money will come back to him. So he might have to invest a little bit now.
Yeah,
but he can be a star based on that performance that Eddie Hearn wants. So you have to shell out a bit of money, but I can see him getting it back based on that.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. Undercards, Ray Ford against Thomas Matisse, mate. I've written there, guys. Easy spar for Ray Ford. He come into the ring looking like Errol Spence Jr. Same hairstyle, big pink and yellow fluorescent. It looked like Errol Spence Jr. 2.0, whatever. 100 to 90 on all three scorecards. Literally tells you the story. It was bang on. He won every second of every round. I think Thomas Matisse was a bit of a joke, to be honest, Dave. He turned up and all he was there to do was have his chin checked and laugh and make silly faces. Don't get wrong, must have been frustrating for Ray Ford because he threw the kitchen sink at him. Thomas Matisse has got a good chin. Apart from that, it was a literally easy spar for Ray Ford. Can't take anything out of this apart from Ray Ford winning every round, earning ranking points, and making his way up the rankings, up to to getting a world title shot. Apart from that, I kind of got a little bit bored because it was rinse and repeat, and that was nothing to do with Ray Ford. It was just he just couldn't get rid of him, and Thomas Matisse didn't offer anything. I think the stats said, mate, that it was one of the lowest outputs ever for this weight or one of these fights. He was throwing like 23, 24 shots around, if that. So the proof is in the pudding. I didn't enjoy the fight, but Ray Ford done what he was supposed to do, mate. So yeah, what did you think of this? I wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't see Matisse land a punch. I can't remember seeing him land a single punch.
You're right.
It was basically Ray Ford versus the heavy bag. You could have stood there and watched him in an amateur gym do 10 rounds against a heavy bag and slip and slide from it. That is basically what it was. We learned nothing new. We've seen performances like this from Ray Ford. We know he's skilled. We know he's a sharpshooter. We know he's spiteful and he's accurate. But there has always been a question: is if has he got the power? He hasn't got knockout power, that's for sure. But again, that's it. there's not really a lot you can go with. You know, we haven't come out of this learning anything new from Ray Ford. So yeah, onwards and upwards. But I mean, we need something. We need something now. Can't keep fighting guys like this.
The something is, we'll go through the other champions. Navarrete, obviously WBO champion. Shaki Foster, them two have been having a war of words.
Yeah, I was going to say them two are having it, so maybe there's something there.
He's with top ranked WBC, and obviously Lamont Roach Jr. is going to go back in with Gervonta Davis. Now, be careful what you wish for, Ray Ford. Now, it kind of makes sense for Eddie as well. The IBF strap is obviously vacant, and Sugar Nunes is taking on a Japanese opponent. I can't remember his name, Rikishi or something like that. Most people in the boxing community expect Sugar Nunes to go over to Japan and smash this guy to bits, pick up the belt and say, I am the reason Kakachi and some of the other guys don't want to touch me. He's a bit like a Yanibek or a Murtazeliev of the division. Nobody wants to touch him. Now, Ray Ford's calling for him, and that's fine. You're both matchroom fighters under the matchroom banner with Eddie. So you could get a world title fight against Sugar Nunes. But I will tell you this now, and you'll probably confirm it as well, Dave. Don't get me wrong. Matisse had a strong chin, but he couldn't punch or didn't choose to punch. He went in with Nick Ball, Ray Ford. Nick Ball hasn't got one punch power. It's accumulation, you know, but he couldn't stop it. You could take Nick Ball's power. He just kind of outworked you at certain stages. Sugar Nunes is a killer. He's a killer. Now, if he lands on you, he's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So that is, and I like the sound bites. I like Ray Ford calling him out. That's what I want to see. I want to see the two best fighters of the division. And this guy's a killer.
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants to take on Sugar Nunes. Anthony Kakachi was the world champion, the A side. Turn it down. Yes, he's getting more money to fight Lee Wood, but he didn't want to defend his belt. Now, I'm never going to slag him off, but I'd rather see Anthony Kakachi test himself against a danger in the division in Sugar Nunes, not the Lee Wood fight. And there's reasons for it. And that will be probably what's going through Eddie's head, Ray's head. Sugar Nunes has said if he can get through this Japanese kid. But yeah, that would be the most sensible fight, if you like, Dave. With obviously Eddie having to pay, you know, other promotional companies for Oshaki Foster and Navarrete, etc. But I think that will be the next fight to make for Ray Ford. Sugar Nunes, if he wins his world title shot fight, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is the names that you want to be seeing him in with. Yes, I know. Listen, I know he's moved up in weight and he's had one or two at the weight, you know, to find his feet, and that's fine. Got no issues with that. But he's done it now. We know he's a former world champion. We know he's a good fighter. He doesn't have to have these sort of warm up fights and, you know, leading to something. This is it. He needs to go in now, and dip his and have a crack at it. You know, have a crack at these guys. Make these fights. I know, like you said, he's making all the right noise. But if he gets another Matisse in his next opponent, people will just be like, oh, come on. So, listen, we learned nothing from it. So, yeah, Sugar Nunes is, he is. I agree with you. That's gonna be some fight. That would be.
Nobody's putting a hand up, are they? Yeah, no one's putting their hand up for him. And there's a reason why.
Yeah, exactly. So so it'd be good. It'd be good to see what comes of it, mate. We can't have another easy spar like you put there for Ray Ford. That's for sure.
I just want to add. Obviously, we spoke about Omari Jones. He was back out on the cards. First round stoppage against William Jackson. Nice body shot, doing his apprenticeship there. Not a lot to take out of that. But I just wanted to add, as I was watching it on Saturday night, there was an Uzbek silver Olympian, Shakram Giasov. I saw the back end of the fight. He stopped his Argentinian opponent in 4 rounds. But as I was watching it, I didn't know the backstory. So he was talking about he's going to be a mandatory now for Boots. I think he's ranked number 1 in the WBA. So obviously, if Eddie can't get the fights going forward with the other champions, he might be mandated to fight this guy. And then we'll speak about if he can get up for fighting the likes of Giasov. But I just wanted to say it's nice in boxing. He's lost his daughter, his 2-year-old daughter. I think it was to a rare bleed on the brain or some sort of hemorrhage. And he started crying in the ring, Dave. And I've started filling up. I think I don't even know this guy, but just his story, you know, the story, and you know, he's trying to do it for his daughter. I just thought I'd mention that. It was a really touching moment. A bit like when we spoke about Ngannou last year, when they all cried in the ring because he lost his daughter and he come back and he won and things like that. So that was really nice to see. So I should be keeping an eye on him. Shakram Giasov, who seems to be doing well under the Matchroom banner as well. So that was the end of that card, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, me and Dave previewed Marlon DeParles versus old John Jett. But for some unknown reason, well, it's not an unknown reason. I don't know why it's been postponed, but it has been postponed till next weekend. So we won't probably go over that. It'll probably end up being in Banker of the Week. It's the Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. weekend next weekend. So that'd be like little caveat on top if it goes ahead. So for performance of the week, Dave, Pretty easy, isn't it?
Yeah, Boots.
Boots, yeah. Not a lot to choose from. So yeah, definitely Boots Ennis there. So that was the review from the weekend. Now it's time for a bit of. Oh, he's gone black. It's gone dark. That only means one thing. A bit of time for Dave McDonald and his
dongs.
There you go.
Right, I'm going to go dark here, which I already did because I was just lining it up. But yeah, just so you know, just to let the viewers and listeners know that I'm on the phone today because I didn't forget we usually have it wrapped up by Friday, and I left my laptop at work. Yeah. But anyway, Noel Mikalainen has stepped in to replace the injured Ryan Rosicky to challenge WBC Cruiserweight World Champion Badou Jack on May 3rd on the Canelo Alvarez Skull undercard. Mikalainen is the current WBC champion in recess. So a better fight, I would say, wouldn't you, than the original fight? Not that I've got too much interest in Badou Jack. He's fucking older than us.
Yeah.
And I say he fought George Groves and James DeGar. They've been retired for fucking God knows how many years now. So it just tells you everything you need to know. But as replacements go, it's not it's not a bad one compared to the original fight. That doesn't usually happen.
It's been a bit of a triangle between Badou Jack, Rosicky, and Mikalainen, hasn't it? It's one's been in recess, then they were supposed to fight, then it was pulled, and then Don King's involved with a couple of these as well. He's had his finger involved, and yeah, it's been a little bit of a mess, to be honest. It's a decent fight, as you said. Badou Jack's older than us now. What's he got left? He's fought at multiple weights, but I've got to be honest, Dave. Hopefully we can see a good fight between them. The winner goes on to fight Joe Opetaia, and he just cleans up. Then we get Opetaia and Zerdo to go at it for all the belts. I mean, that's the kind of rhetoric we're going down, because that WBC belt, we talk about sanctioning bodies calling fighters to fight so and so here and there. That WBC cruiserweight belt's been kind of inactive for a few years now, hasn't it? I mean, how long's Badou Jack been holding on to that and not being called? And I think it was it Makabu, Elinka Makabu who beat for that, wasn't it? About 2.5 years ago. So yeah, better fight. Hope they deliver on the day, but I think it's all a matter of time before whoever picks it up. Joe Opetaia needs to get that belt, or Zerdo needs to get that belt. One of them needs to get that belt, so then they can unify, and then obviously Jai move up and do what he's got to do. But yeah, not too. I'm just glad that belts are back out in action, to be honest, Dave.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. It's a hard one to get going on that. This is a good bit of news, and I'm 100% going to this, Dave. See if you can try and get down yourself, mate. I know it'd be difficult. Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois are being announced to fight at Wembley on July 12th.
Yeah.
For the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world.
Yeah. I knew this would happen because I said it on a show months ago. It's all about Usyk adding to his legacy to become a 2-time undisputed champion at heavyweight. A bit like Canelo in a couple of weeks' time, mate. Let's be totally honest. Usyk and Canelo didn't lose their belts in the ring, their IBF belts. They were made to vacate or stripped. Yeah. So they're literally fighting for their own belt again. You know, you've got William Skull and you've got Daniel Dubois, who were upgraded. They're not proper champions. They didn't beat the man to get the belt. And obviously, we've seen Usyk versus Dubois 1. Yes, Dubois is supposed to be a better fighter now, but he's jumping in with the elite. So, yeah, good fight again, mate. Can he right the wrong, Daniel Dubois, or does Usyk kind of just add to the legacy before he sails off into the sunset, mate? Yeah.
Yeah, Alfie's already on to me about tickets for this. And it's so, yeah, I'll try and go. Like I say, if you can get down, mate, and it's announced, I'll see if I can. I'll give you a shout before I'll buy any tickets just to see if you're about.
Defo, mate. Defo.
That'd be good.
Until it's sealed, signed, delivered, it's rumored. I can see it happening. Yeah. But yeah, when you're talking about belt wise, it probably is the fight to make to get all 4 belts together again. But let's be totally honest, Dave. It shouldn't have really been he shouldn't have been made to vacate or strip anyway, should he? So. No.
But like I say, if they got a venue and a date, it's usually done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just final throws. But yeah, well, I'll give you a nudge before I get any.
But you know what it's going to be about, mate, didn't you? It's going to be about the low blow again. That's all it's going to be talking about. Let's be totally honest. Because we've spoke about this hundreds of times. You sort of dissect the fight. Daniel Dubois not winning any of those rounds. So, yeah,
they got stopped with a jab as well. They seem to forget that. I know, like I say, Daniel Dubois has got a different mentality now, but he's not been under that type of strain that he's going to be under with Usyk. Yeah, he's had some really good wins, but none of them are Usyk.
Exactly. And Usyk might go old overnight. So it happens to the best of them. There's a fight this weekend. I just want to quickly talk about later, mate. That somebody that literally did go old overnight. So it could happen to him, but I doubt it. But yeah, good fight to make. Do we want to see it? Yes. Let's get it on.
That's it, mate. That's it. So yeah. So listen to this. I know this is where I start to see a rant from yourself, right? So the IBF have ordered a heavyweight. The IBF have ordered a heavyweight final eliminator between Frank Sanchez and Filip Hrgović, with the winner being to be made mandatory challenger for Daniel Dubois' world title. Derek Chisora is currently the mandatory, with the position being officially ordered on April 22nd. Can you make any sense of that?
No, it's a mess. It's a complete mess. Absolute mess. Right.
So Derek Chisora is the mandatory,
but hasn't been called.
Philip. Yeah, it hasn't been called. But Filip Hrgović is fighting Frank Sanchez to be the mandatory.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be a final eliminator, isn't it? But we've already got someone that's in the number 1 ranked position to be called next. And then obviously Frank Sanchez is getting an opportunity to become in line to fight for the World Championship, coming off a defeat to Ajit Caballero.
Yeah.
It's a sanctioning bodies, Dave, isn't it? Yeah. People are probably going to get bored. I'm not going to rise to it. It's an absolute shit show. None of them should be fighting for a world title. Let's be totally honest, mate.
No, none of them. No,
They're
you're right.
There,
mate. I thought I could throw out a dangle a little bit of a hook on this one and get you going, but you're not biting on this glorious Friday morning, no?
I could do, but it's the same old shit over and over again. The sooner these sanctioned bodies fuck off, the better. I mean, what do you think? I mean,
it's a mess. But the IBF, they just when they're the first ones to strip anyone if they don't have managers.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying about Canelo and Usyk.
Yeah. And but they're calling 3 of them at once now.
Yeah.
So it's a mess, mate. No one knows that. You know what it is? There is no rules.
Yeah, so that's the best way to sum it up, mate. You're right. There is no rules.
I tried to get you on that.
Yeah, you kind of did.
Oh yeah. So there's been a back and forth on with Whittaker, and it's quite embarrassing, really, and Cameron's team around this 10-round, 12-round contract business. But it's now officially reached an agreement with Boxer to finalise his fight against Ben Whittaker as a 10-round contest to take place this Sunday. It's made Ben Shalom look very amateurish. I mean, contracts. You've got to be very careful. There's things that get thrown in there, small prints, all that sort of stuff. But the rounds. It's got to be one of the first things you look at. And the big things made of it. It's been an embarrassment all round, mate. So it was, the contract was for the fight was meant to be a 12-round fight as per the contract. Ben Whittaker's never done 12. So it should have been a 10. They made a mistake. So there was back and forth. Is the fight going to happen? Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he must have been paid a nice few quid just to say no more, do 10 rounds. So he's happy. And, but in Ben Whittaker's camp, the whole thing is shenanigans. Has been an embarrassment, really, amateurish.
Yeah, it's like he said, she said. Ben was saying Queensbury were making things up, trying to get them to buy it. You got Ben Shalom saying it's always been 10 rounds. He's obviously had to fork out. If it was going to go 12, he'd have to pay the extra for Ben to do it. Doesn't look like Ben wants 12 rounds. I mean, I've been listening to all the pros. When they're actually talking about pro boxing and doing rounds and sparring and things like that. I mean, I'm a kind of hit and miss with Spencer Oliver at times, so I think he kind of just agrees with people for the sake of agreeing when they're sitting there. But he said, when I was fighting, whether it be for an 8-rounder, I'm training for 10. If I'm going in for a 10-rounder, I'm training for 12. He said that's the boxer's mentality. Yeah. Something tells me as well, Dave, that Ben Whittaker ain't. He ain't comfortable because you go back. We've all gone back and looked at the first fight. Obviously, we're going to get the second fight this weekend. We've gone over it again. He's shagged after 4 rounds. Now he's fit as fuck. You look, don't get me wrong. He's got a body Adonis. He's, he looks fantastic. But is he fit? Round 4, he's fucked.
Yeah.
So is there something telling you I can't? 10's a stretch. I definitely can't do 12. And obviously Ben is a promoter trying to make money, not lose money. He obviously doesn't want to pay for the extra 2 rounds. But you are right, mate. It's an absolute shit show going into this. But look, it's all been sorted now for whatever reason. Get the 2 boys in the ring on Sunday night, on Easter Sunday, and let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. So
absolutely, and we'll review that in a minute.
Yeah.
And the last piece of news which is, and again, a nice piece, I'd say, for David McDonald this week, is Shakur Stevenson will defend his WBC lightweight world title against William Zepeda in New York City on 12th of July.
Good.
There's still more details to come out about the event, but it looks like that's announced, and so yeah. It didn't take long. We spoke about it last week. We thought, you know, there's purse bids, and until we get a face off, until we get a presser, we're still not 100% there. But it looks ever so much closer than it did last week when we were talking about purse bids. So, and Oscar's out there already sending tweets out saying the fight's done, it's made. So, yeah, let's hope so, because it's the best versus the best in the division. So let's go, one of the best anyway.
I'm glad if it is side sealed and got to be delivered. I'm glad, because I sat on there last week and I said it would not be made because of the 70-30. I did not think Oscar De La Hoya would accept 30% of his unbeaten fighter with the interim belt. I thought he'd want more money, but if that is the clause and he's happy, he looks like he's backing Zepeda. So the first time Zepeda pulled out, was that because his missus was about to drop, or she was having a baby and he wasn't in camp, and he wasn't 100% focused, lasered, razor sharp going into it. There was reasons. Now he's obviously backing his fighter. Zepeda and Team Zepeda are backing himself, backing their fighter. So if it happens, I'm happy to be wrong. I want to see, like you just said, best versus the best. He's earned his shot. He's got the right to fight Shakur Stevenson. They seem to be happy about purse bids. I don't know if they can get anything else out of it. It probably doesn't look like it's going to purse bids, Dave. If it's been ordered and Matchroom and Golden Boy look like they've worked together to get this sorted, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Best fighting the best, not arguing over purse bid, 70-30 and all that kind of nonsense that comes with it. A side, B side, posters and things like that. So yeah, but I will, as you just said there, mate. Let's see if it does get delivered, because I've seen all the news over the socials about it happening. Both teams are happy at the moment, but yeah. Great fight to make, and we'll see how Zepeda how good he really is, because he's been asked questions against Tevin Farmer the first time, came through it the second time. Shakur's are completely levels above Tevin Farmer, so yeah, it's going to have to be the best version of himself that night, and obviously Shakur Stevenson is going to come in against a fighter that he's never fought against someone that brings this much pressure. So yeah, two completely different styles. I'm waffling a bit now, but yeah, let's pray and hope we get it on.
That's it, mate. So that's it for David McDonald and the Dongs. Is that a beer you just swigged there? Was it?
No, energy drink, mate. No, it's a bit early. It's a bit early for me yet for the beer. I've got kids to look after as well, so I've got to be sensible. No, it's what is it? It's Tesco's own brand, Blue Spark.
They're pure poison, them things. I never drink energy drinks.
I know.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a picture of health anyway, so there's no way I should be preaching to the choir. But I do steer away from energy drinks. I don't touch them things.
It's weird you say that, because I put a post on Instagram the other day about vodka and Red Bulls. It was like when we were younger, we used to drink these, until 4 o'clock in the morning and go to work straight after. And friend of the show, which will be on in 2 weeks' time to do Ben Eubank with us, Mr. J Murphy, he private messaged me and he was warning me about the dangers of energy drinks. Bless him, basically saying what you said.
Yeah,
poison in a can. But I've got a little bit of an addiction to them. I don't smoke anymore, guys. I don't gamble anymore. I just drink. And obviously, as Dave said there, I'm drinking poison. But I don't look a picture of health either, so that's got something to do with it. So yeah. Prediction league now, before we jump into our previews. 7-5 to myself going into last week. Did Mr. Holland pull anything back? Let's have a look. Boots Stanionis, both went for Boots on points. Obviously, Boots got the stoppage. That's a point apiece there. And Ford against Matisse. Both said Ray Ford. Dave went for the knockout in round 5. So that's 1 point to Dave. I went for Ray Ford on points. So that's 3 points to me. And obviously, Tapales versus John Jett was cancelled. So the scores on the doors was myself 4, Dave H 2. Going into this weekend, brother, it's now Dave H 5. Dave Graham 8. Need to get some bounce back ability, mate.
Jesus, yeah.
Is that still a term used in football? Bounce back ability. Remember that when that was a thing?
It was Ian Dowie that said that in an interview on Soccer AM or something once, and that was it. It went viral for you would call viral at that time. It went viral for a bit, and I think it fizzled out But yeah, bounce back ability. Yeah, I do need it
Yeah,
though.
you fizzled out, mate. At the moment, you're fizzling out.
I know. I'll get it back. I'm always confident. You know, I'm a championship round fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're not into what's it now? January, February, March, April. We're into round 4 at the moment, aren't we? Back into round 4. So yeah, it's a 12 rounder.
I ain't come alive yet, mate. I'm
alive yet.
Feeling you out in a minute.
Yeah, downloading. He's downloading, guys. Right, let's have a look what we've got this weekend. There's quite a bit going on. There's quite a bit of boxing going on between now and all the way into May. So it's quite exciting for us as a boxing fans. But we're going to start on Friday night. Now, we was going to do Michael Hunter versus Chris Lovejoy. For reasons, Michael Hunter's quite inactive. He follows both me and Dave on social, so we've got a bit of a love for him. But I mentioned Don King earlier. He's involved with Lovejoy, so he's kind of pulled the fight for some strange reason. I don't know, but the fight's off, which is such a shame. I was quite looking forward to seeing what Michael Hunter was going to do in this year, but he's not fighting. So we're jumping over to Orlando, Florida, the Carib Royal. That venue's lose a lot of times over there. Anyway, Lenier Pero versus Detrailus Webster. I've got on there. Now, most people are going, "Ooh, what?" Me and Dave are the same. I've got to be totally honest. Now, Pero is ranked very highly with the WBA. And I've got to be honest, unless you're a proper hardcore, you know about Pero. We've had to do a little bit of digging here because he's ranked so high. And I didn't realize he's one of the Cuban Olympians from 2016 that Eddie's got on his book. Eddie co-promotes him with, I think it's Boxler Promotions. I don't really know anything about them, but he's out anyway this Friday night over in Florida. 11-0, 8 KOs, Cuban heavyweight, southpaw, age 32, but he's Cuban, so he's probably about 42. As I said, he's ranked number 5 for the WBA. Nobody's talking about him. I don't know why. Possibly because of the level of opponent, the inactivity from him. He's got a younger brother who's ranked number 11 with the same governing body. He's also unbeaten. So we thought we'd just have a look at him, Dave, didn't we? See what he's all about. Yeah. We've gone and watched some footage of him. Notable heavyweights at Cuban, Frank Sanchez. He doesn't kind of move like him. He doesn't look like he's got that Cuban style with the fast feet. And obviously Luis Ortiz, who's still knocking about. Obviously, you know, he must be about 102. He was more accurate, wasn't he? Faster hands, not really fast feet. From what the footage you've seen of Pero, Dave, going, you know, his 11 fights. What do you take out of it? I know it's hard because the level of opposition he's been fighting is rubbish, but what have you noticed about him going into the weekend, mate?
I noticed that I say you can see he's an amateur. You can see he's been a decorated amateur from the way that he does his offense, his attacks. You know, he's up on the way that he goes in. And I've looked, I thought his left hand's a little bit low when he's on the way in as well. So there's things, obviously, you know, he's coming into the pros, probably coming in a bit late. Been an amateur probably his whole life. Them Cubans do turn over late.
Yeah.
But he carries power, and there's a bit there. There's a bit there to be a concern for the heavyweights that are coming up and at a certain position. But he's accurate. He's accurate, all right. Plenty of movement, but yeah, it's you can see the amateur style in him. Well, so obviously I've gone back and watched some of the bits that you were sending over. But he definitely needs, for me, a few more. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's ready to start talking about serious names as of yet. I don't know whether you feel the same, but he's definitely got attributes. No? He's definitely got attributes to climb the ladder, but I think he needs a little bit more time. So I don't know too much about Webster, but
well, I can tell you just quickly before just to interrupt. Webster's age 36. He's 9-4, and he's ranked 355 in the world. So that's all you need to know.
Oh well, he's getting stopped, but he's getting stopped. But for the clips that I'd seen there, we're just analysing him. Like I say, he's a good fighter. Like I say, for me, he hasn't sort of turned into a pro style as of yet. He still does amateurish things, which is not a bad thing. But yeah, and then I just like I say, it's more when he's on the offense, and that's basically in the fights that I've seen. That's all he's doing. I've not seen him under any sort of heavy fire. I've not seen him how he reacts on the back foot. But like I say, he's accurate in his punches. He's got power because he can get a knockout. But yeah. He's one of them, on the up. But I looked at him at the minute. I don't look at him and think, wow. I don't see the wow factor in the performance that I've seen yet and think, oh, he's like the knees. How we feel about Moses Atuma. I'm not like, oh my God. But there's definitely skills there, definitely boxing skills. And the Cubans are known for that. You know what I mean? The Cubans are known for that. So, yeah, it's good to see where his journey's going to come. He's a good fighter. And like I say, he's got an amateur pedigree. You can see that in the way that he fights. So, yeah, like I say, he will bulldoze this guy. I'll predict it. Because it's on here. He's gonna win by KO in round 4.
Yeah, mate. It's weird because I didn't realise he was with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn normally comes and waxes lyrical about all his signings. Maybe because he was co-promoted. I don't remember Eddie mentioning this guy. And I've had a kind of look at his career. He was in the 2016 Olympics. He beat the Gladiator, Vianello, and he lost where he got stopped by Hrgovic in the quarterfinals. So, but that was 2016. He's a pro now. But he's been very inactive as a pro as well. So maybe Eddie's got him on board, seen there's something there, get him out early this time of year, and keep him active. He's ranked number 4 or 5 for a reason. I don't know why, because we haven't seen enough of him. He's had 6 minutes of action in the last 2.5 years, Dave. So his last 2 fights, he's knocked the guys out in the first round. So he needs to be active.
He needs rounds. He needs rounds.
Like, yeah.
He does need rounds. And like I say, that's what I sort of, I don't know. I didn't know the things that you're saying to me there, but you can just see the way that he fights, that he needs experience as a pro for me.
Yeah. I'm going to go round 1 again for him. I'm going to go round 1.
He's not getting rounds this week.
No, he's not getting rounds this week. And hopefully Eddie can and his co-promoter can put their hand in their pocket and give him someone else. So we can have a dance with, and it goes at least 5-6 rounds. But yeah, it'd be interesting. So that's on DAZN, early hours of Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to mention before we move over to the UK on Saturday night. It looks like it's the end of an era tonight over in Russia. Old Crusher Sergei Kovalev seems to be hanging up his gloves after tonight, mate. 16 years as a pro. He takes on Kazakh German Artur Man in Russia live on YouTube. So I should be catching that. I think ring rule's about 9:30. 42 now, Dave, same age as us. He's had a great career, probably I wouldn't say most noted for, but those fights with Andre Ward, should have really won the first one, rolled it back and got stopped. That was
I remember him bursting onto the scene. We didn't really know him on the UK when he smashed Nathan Cleverly.
Yeah. That was, what was that, 2012, 2013, something like that?
The referee done him something. I remember watching that on TV. And I'm thinking, wow, where has this geezer come from? Like I say, the referee, you could say helped Cleverly, but he should have stopped it. That would have been more of a help. But it was carrying him back to the corner and stuff like that. I think it was 4 rounds, but fuck me, it's like, wow. They talk about wow performances. When I saw him come in and smash Cleverly, here we go. Like, he was a monster then. The Crusher was for a reason, and he just took him apart. But, you're right. The Andre Ward fights, he should have won the first fight, really. He should have won the first fight.
He put Ward down as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did put Ward down. Yeah, he did. I say he got to back end of his career, got splattered by Canelo. Canelo picked him at the right time, done whatever, and picked him at the right time. Great career. I think he should have hung up his gloves a few years ago, which he did, but he's come in and out. Can't seem to let it go.
Yeah,
but
most of them.
Will this be the final time? Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him again in some weird card. But yeah, best of luck to him.
Yeah, and that's what I said earlier about aging overnight. We saw him, didn't we, out on that Riyadh card? He was on the undercard of Usyk Fury 1, and you could tell it was awful. He literally does look old. He looks 42 now against the level of opponent he was fighting. He was getting outbeat. He got put down. He's just done enough to stay in there for 10 rounds. Yeah, and that's what I said about Gennady Golovkin as well. The third Canelo fight. Yes, Canelo couldn't get him out of there, but he just seemed to age overnight. And who knows? Golovkin hasn't come back, mate. But who knows if this is going to be the last dance for Kovalev? Like you say, they can't leave it alone. But if he's had faults and he's had ideas about stopping, so maybe this is it, mate. Maybe he does. This is the last time we see him. So I'm going to try and watch that tonight on YouTube with a couple of glasses of wine and a couple of beers.
I'll
and
be
settle down.
absolutely. I'll have to watch that another day because I'll be blotto by 9:30 tonight.
Yeah, I'll keep you informed, mate. I'll keep you informed.
Cheers.
Right, let's jump over to the UK. I've got to be totally honest, guys. This is rubbish. This fight's rubbish for a main event on a Saturday night in Sheffield. Yes, it's Dalton Smith in his hometown. Good luck to him. He's going to earn himself a couple of quid. He takes on Canada's Matteo Germain. There's some WBC super lightweight nonsense belt. No one gives a fuck. I've heard people on social media saying that, Dalton Smith's the mandatory for Albert Puello. And as you said earlier about Derek Chisora, he may be ranked number one, but he hasn't been called. You've got to be called to be mandated. He hasn't been called. He's just sitting there at number one. Like Dillian White was sat there for number one for fucking Yonks when Fury and Wilder had the belt. Yeah, he wasn't called. You've got to be called to be mandated. So he's not. So he's fighting this guy, Dave, who's not even in the top 15 for an interim. It's not even an interim belt. It's a silver belt. So I've got no idea why he's doing this. It's possibly a keep busy because he probably knows he's not going to get the Puello fight. I'm guessing PBC will do PBC things and make Puello versus Antoine Russell 2, which is a more attractive fight. It's a rematch, a unification fight. But no disrespect to Dalton Smith, mate. This is another step backwards. This will last about 1 or 2 rounds. It's got Walid Wizard written all over it again. It's disappointing. And I don't blame Dalton Smith. He probably doesn't want this level of opponent. It's all he could get for him in the time being. I'm not looking forward to it, Dave. And I don't like to say that because there's one fight we all want to see in the UK. I don't care about waiting around. It's Dalton Smith versus Adam Azim, but we're getting fed with this rubbish. Yes, he's going to get a highlight reel knockout. We know Dalton Smith's going to smash this guy to bits. Yeah. But what does he learn from it? What does he learn from this?
Well, I mean, we moaned about this when it was announced on David McDonald.
We did.
And obviously it's come to fruition. It's happening tonight. I'm with you. Are they just trying to protect that number one spot? Not take any chances at the moment. Try and get him the shot that he's after. And
but it's not main event though, Dave, is it? I know it's not pay-per-view, but come on.
No, it's not main event. It's going to be Dalton Smith, like you said, getting a viral knock. It's a pick around fight for me. This is pick around which one Dalton Smith's going to detonate. So I can't really get up for it either, mate. I will watch it. I like Dalton Smith. I like what he does. I like his aggression. I like him as a fighter. But we got to call it. We got to call it how it is, mate. And it's got this opponent is not worthy of being in with him. So for me, it's one of them. I'm not asked. So what I'm going to call it. You said 1 or 2. I'll let you pick first because you said 1 or 2. What round's he detonating? And I'll go off the back of that.
Well, the European champion, Walid Wizard, that was round 1, wasn't it? So this guy's not a champion of anything. I don't think he's ever really fought out of Canada. I'm going to go round 1 again. I'm going to go 2 round 1s.
All right. I was going to go round 2 anyway, but I thought you might have picked round 2. So I'll go round 2. Detonate.
Yeah. I think you're right, Dave. I think you are right. I think you're spot on. I think it's Eddie's had a case of just giving him this level of opponent to keep that number one mandatory. If you give him somebody like I don't know, like a Frank Martin, who's probably not ready for world titles just yet, but is much better than domestic level. There's more jeopardy fighting a guy like that, and it's a jeopardy fight for him. So yeah, you're probably right, mate.
This is like a lose-lose for him because if he splatters him in round 1, he's supposed to. If he goes any longer than round 6, then everyone's questioning whether Dalton Smith's good enough. Yeah,
correct. You're right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we talk about fighters that having to get up for fights, fighting their level. Now, how's Dalton Smith training for this? Do you know what I mean? Is he really doing that extra mile like he would if he's fighting Adam Zim? Is he doing the extra miles on his runs? Is he doing that extra round sparring when he can't be asked? Do you know what I mean? Against a guy like that, he can't go for it. And these are the sort of banana skins that happen. You usually see potential banana skins like, what was his name?
Bruno Siraj.
Yeah, Mungai.
Yeah.
And you can understand that when these fights are announced as to why these things happen. Because, it's just human nature to be thinking, I'll smash this geezer. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you get whacked with one. Like, what the fuck happened? And then you've got to have a rematch to right the wrong. So, it's frustrating all that. And again, it's politics and it's all these sort of other things. But, it is what it is, mate. But, Dalton Smith will smash him to pieces, I'm sure.
Yeah. Right. On the undercard, Josh Padley, mate. The electrician, one of your boys. He's off the tools now. He's a full-time boxer. He got the contract at Matchroom. He done a
Good.
job on Chamberlain, which wasn't supposed to happen. And obviously went in with Shakur Stevenson and done better than most expected on a late call-up against the best in the world. He's fighting here against a Serbian in Marko Vetandanic. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I just called him the Serbian. He's undefeated. Where do we go? Where do we go with this? Josh Padley is obviously he's been in with much better level of opponents. What version do you think we see of Josh now? Do we think we see Josh fighting at this level, or has Eddie signed him because he's much better in this level? So basically what I'm saying is, does Josh Padley go in and put on a bit of a masterclass and say, I was supposed to be at the level of Chamberlain, just underneath Shakur Stevenson? Or do we see a laboured kind of Josh Padley that's fighting this level, or maybe just had 2 brilliant nights of his life? Who knows? But we're both on the train with Padley. Love him to bits. Love the story, the Rocky story, fitting solar panels in. We've done all that kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to seeing Josh Padley in his debut for Matchroom, mate.
Well, Joe, I'm looking forward to seeing him being the A side and him being, let's say the favourite, because that's what he is in this
Yes,
fight.
he is. Yeah.
He burst on the scene against Mark Chamberlain and beat him, which was great. He got put in with Shakur.
Supposed to.
Yeah, so he's always been his late replacement. So no one's really known him to be in the position he's in now. So it'd be interesting to see how he takes that side of pressure from me. Going in there with pressure on his shoulders to be there, because he had no pressure in the 2 fights before. Now, does he buckle under the pressure, or does he thrive on it and put on a good performance? Because in the 2 fights he's gone in, he's been expected to lose. So, yeah, so it's a different kind of pressure for him, and I want to see how he goes, because in a fight where he's supposed to be the favourite, he's meant to be the boxer, he's meant to be the puncher, he's meant to be everything's in favour of him. We've never seen that for him, so it's all new for us. So this fight's an intriguing fight, because I'm expecting him to win. I am expecting him, but I want to see the different Josh Padley that we've never seen before, because he's never been in an opponent where he's been expected to be that guy. So yeah, this could. I think he will win, but this could go either way, really, because we haven't seen Josh Padley in this position before. So it's intriguing for me. So yeah, I know too much about Marko Stanionis. You say he's unbeaten, yeah?
Unbeaten Serbian, yeah. 13-0. Doesn't really carry a lot of power. A bit like Josh, to be honest. But Josh is obviously the favourite going into this. And also, just to add on top, because of his performances against Chamberlain and Shakur Stevenson, both those guys are southpaw. Looks like Matchroom have picked a southpaw levels below those 2 guys for Josh Padley. So, yeah, looks like he does well against southpaws, Dave, especially at this level.
So like I say, I'm just interested to see how he reacts to being the A side and having everything in his favour and being the guy. So I'm going to go. I think it's going to be a bit nip and tuck in early rounds. I think he's going to find his feet. We can see he's got a good engine. He's tough as they come. I think he's going to win, and I'm going to go for a late stoppage. I'm going to go for round number 9. I think that the guy will come out. He'll have a bit of confidence at the start, Marko. And I think that Josh Padley, he's shown that he's got grit and determination, and I think he'll wear him down and stop him late. Yeah, round 9 stoppage for Padley.
Yeah, that'd be a nice introduction as a full-time pro for him, wouldn't it? I'm going to go points, mate. I'm going to go points. I'm not sure if he's got enough in those fists. Yes, he put Chamberlain down, but I don't know if he's got enough in there to kind of finish the job off, if you like. But yeah, I'm more than confident Josh Padley will have enough on Saturday night. Just to add quickly on into this card, we're not previewing it, but Josh Warrington's back out in action. He was retired, or he was talking about retirement. Can't leave it alone. But he's fighting Mick Conlan's old opponent, the Indian kid, Asif Khan. Our friend Mickey McGrath went there and watched him. So basically, the talk has been Warrington versus Conlan, either in Leeds or in Belfast. So this one, Dave, is who does it better, Conlan or Warrington? And we weren't waxing lyrical about Michael Conlan's performance against this Indian kid that's been plucked out of Delhi. So yeah, that's on the card, mate. If you want to add anything about Josh Warrington's return to the ring.
I thought he retired when he was at Wembley. Put his gloves in the ring. He's maybe another one that can't let go. He's got a massive following. It's hard when you like I say, with the following he's got, it's hard to give it up. Ricky Hatton struggled with it. So yeah, what is he trying to achieve? He's had a lot of opportunity from Eddie Hearn, more than anyone, I believe, in the opportunities that he's got. Yep. So I
Sue
don't
does
know
it better, isn't it? I'm thinking
Yeah.
because it's the same opponent and they're looking to fight each other next in the summer. It's kind of who
Yeah.
does it better against this Indian kid. I can't think of any other reason
But,
why.
Then just maybe get the ring rust off before that fight,
Yeah,
and then
true.
it's the trinket on it. You know what I mean? And yeah, like you say, then they go, "Oh, I done it in 4, you done it in 2." You know what I mean? And it gives a bit of needle, gives a little bit of interest going into the fight. But yeah, it's probably just a ring rust one, and it's ideal that they've both fought him. But yeah, it's a difficult one with Josh Warrington and Conlon because you know, when they stepped up to, especially Conlon, when he stepped up to a well level of someone that can punch, he's struggled.
That's true. Yeah. Ishmael Davis was supposed to be on this card as well, but he pulled out through injury. So Kevin Agyarko, he gets his opportunity against Ryan Kelly. It's been interesting. Black Thunder 16-0 Agyarko. So if he comes through against Kelly, you're likely to see Ishmael Davis against Agyarko. So yeah, that's your card really for Sheffield. I'll be watching, but it's nothing I can get kind of hard over if you like. I can get hard over this girl though, and I'm not talking sexy. I'm talking about her boxing skills, ladies and gentlemen. Gabriela Fundora, she's out for the first time this year over in California. The Golden Boy fighter, undisputed flyweight champion of the world, putting all her belts on the line against Marilyn Amia. Yeah, right. We had Jasmina Sapatosha on the podcast on Monday. Absolutely love her to death. Brilliant guest. But let's be totally honest, putting our bias aside, the best flyweight on the planet is Gabriela Fundora. She's called Sweet Poison for a reason. She's 15-0, 7 KOs. No one's come close to beating her yet. She's too strong. She's too powerful. She's too hard to hit. She's got that lanky sort of octopus southpaw style that's nobody's come close to doing anything against her as of yet. For whatever reason, Marilyn is either a voluntary or mandatory. She hasn't lost in her career, but all good things come to an end. It's a massive jump from the level of opponent she's been fighting to get in with a really class elite girl in the women's divisions in Gabriela Fundora. And I think, obviously, Dave, you're going to say your Penrith now as well. It's just whether she stops her or she goes the distance. Gabriela's going to obviously clean up, mop up. She already has. It's a matter of time before she jumps up to bantamweight. But yeah, Gabriela Fundora Saturday night, mate. How are you seeing this one against a challenger that's probably shouldn't even be in the ring with her?
Yeah, well, you've sort of summed it up, and really anyway. She's just got everything going in her favour, Fundora, and it's genetics really. She's just so much bigger. She's so much rangier. She's so much taller. And it's just an attribute that no one can nullify. And so yeah, I'm with you. It's the manner of how she's going to win this fight. It depends on whether Marilyn Amiana is tough. You know, like you said there, she's unbeaten, so she hasn't been chin checked. She hasn't tasted defeat yet. She hasn't really been under the type of pressure she's going to be under that she's going to receive on Saturday night. So yeah, so it's a lion's den for her. So yeah, and like I say, Gabriela Fundora, it's going to take a special performance for someone to beat her. So, be like you say, attributes is an amazing thing. His brother's the same. It's just so hard to nullify someone that's so much bigger. So so Fundora for me is going to win, and I'm going to go on points. I think this, and the reason I am is the undefeated for me. You know, I again, she's not been in with anyone Fundora before, but I think the fact that you haven't tasted defeat, the stubbornness, could see her through to the end. I think it's going to be a clear points win, but I think she might, she might go out on her shield, and last the distance. So I'm gonna go for Fundora on points.
I'm going to go round 8. I think it'd be too much for her. I think the output and the accumulation and not realizing how hard she does hit.
She does.
Yeah. So it's not so to be told. The optic test is enough to see what she does in the ring. So yeah, I'm going to go for Gabriela to get the job done in round number 8. So back over to the UK for our last fight to preview for the weekend, guys. And we spoke about it earlier. It's Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron, part 2, over at the Resorts World in Birmingham on Easter Sunday. We know what happened the first time. Did he or didn't he quit? We've all gone back and watched it. It's kind of irrelevant now. I think he did. I think, Dave, you said the same.
Yeah.
But they're rolling it back. We've had the nonsense with the 10, 12 rounders. They're getting in the ring on Sunday night, and we're going to kind of dissect and break it down. How we see the fight going, mate. Ben Whittaker is 11-4 favourite going into this fight. I kind of get it in terms of he's going to be, or was, or should be the next golden boy of British boxing. He wasn't supposed to do what he done in the first fight. Did he overlook Liam Cameron? Possibly. Was it a realization that he can only do the showboating and taking the piss out of certain levels of fighters? Possibly. But I look, I love all the showboating and things like it's attractive, it's different. But let's be totally honest, Dave. He's no Prince Nazim Hamed. Hamed was doing that, but he was getting rid of guys. He was knocking dudes out willy-nilly. He could talk the talk and walk the walk. Yeah. At the moment, Ben Whittaker's not doing that. He's doing the talk, he's doing the bits in the ring, but he's not getting rid of levels of opponents. And when I saw that, that night when he first fought against over in Saudi, Liam Cameron, I think I gave Ben the first 2 rounds. And then after them, mate, Liam Cameron was very, very comfortable with what was coming back off him. Yeah. Yes, Ben Whittaker was still landing, he was still throwing, but it was just bouncing off him. And Cameron was like, was that it? Well, I'll keep plodding forward and then I'm going to get to you. He looked knackered. His legs were wobbly. He ran out of ideas. There was no B plan. There was no C plan. And I think he quit. I don't think he took Liam Cameron seriously at all from his backstory, him being overweight and he shouldn't be at this level. I'm the Olympian. I'm the golden boy. I can do this. I can do that. I wasn't impressed with what I've seen. No. Now, there's people in the game know far more than us. He's not a hype job, but we've been fed that he is the guy going forward. I didn't see that night. And Liam Cameron knows exactly what he's up against now. He's got data on him himself. Ben's got data on Liam, so he's going to have to change something. I think he's with Andy Lee now as well, the man of the moment. So this is intriguing for me, but the power for me and the gas tank is what concerns me with Ben Whittaker. The power's not going to change. He isn't going to become He-Man overnight unless he goes on the egg diet. So I don't think Liam Cameron's going to be troubled by that power. He's going to have to box him savvy. He's going to have to pick his shots correctly. And he's going to have to pace himself with the gas tank. Because if he punches himself out, Dave, I can see Liam Cameron stopping him late, mate.
Based on the first fight, mate, it's an easy prediction in this. But there is factors in it now. I'm with you. There's been a lot of things gone on with Ben Whittaker, Whittaker, all the criticisms he's had to take. Now, he should be using that as his fuel in this fight to make a massive statement. Now, the showboat is one thing. I've never been a fan of it. He's with Andy Lee. I think that will start to fizzle out. I think it needs to. But you've also got a switched on and a training camp. Liam Cameron, a full camp. It looks sharp. He's coming in with a confidence, and the tide was turning in that fight up to when the fight came to an end when it flipped over the ropes. It was. And on the cards there, he looked like he was going to get stopped. He was going to get walked down and stopped. He was gassed. So they both got a lot that came out of that first fight. So Liam Cameron's going to come in with confidence, knowing that thinking that he can walk him down. But Ben Whittaker also knows the same thing. Now he knows in his heart of heart that he was gassed. So his training, he would have to up his training in this to nullify that. So it is a completely different fight. But if you're gonna, based on where it left off, you would go and predict this fight as a Liam Cameron win. A late stoppage, I could see that. But Ben Whittaker needs to have made the adjustments coming into this, because everyone can see the flaws that he had, and it might have been a blessing in disguise in this viewing happened. It might be a blessing in disguise, and you're going to see Ben Whittaker come out and shut people up, because that's what he needs to do. He needs to come in. He needs to come into this fight and make a massive statement here and go, listen, I got injured. I don't care what anyone says, but this is what I do, and take Liam Cameron apart. So it's a really intriguing one. I'm on the fence as to where I think it's going to go, because again, I said it twice on here. Based on the if you're going to base everything on the first fight, Liam Cameron wins. He wins, and and Ben Whittaker will come out here, start early, start fast, and then Liam Cameron will take the early pressure, then start to walk him down and take him late. That's how the first fight was going, and if you're basing everything on the first fight, that's how this fight goes. But there's different factors in it now. I think Ben Whittaker would be. I know he's very brash and he's very arrogant, and a lot of people, he's Marmite to people. He'd have to be very stupid to not take anything from that first fight and think that he can just approach it the same way. And I just can't see it. I just cannot see it. Andy Lee, let's say you man in the moment. Andy Lee's there now. He's a good coach. He would have watched back that and seen what's gone on there. And it's just no way for me that he could approach it that way. Oh, it's a close fight. I'm going to go for Ben Whittaker. I think Ben Whittaker's going to make the adjustments. As much as I haven't got a dog in the fight, and I
understand. Changes need to be made. Yeah.
Out of the two of them, I prefer Liam Cameron. I've got to admit, as a person, as everything else, I quite like him. But I've got to see it as he has to make the adjustments. I don't think he's arrogant enough to not to. I still think as much as I like Liam Cameron, I think Liam Cameron's going to come with the same game plan. I don't see Liam Cameron changing things. And why would you? Because it seemed to be working in that fight. But Ben Whittaker, I feel, will make the adjustment. I can't see him making the same mistake twice. And what was coming was coming. So I think Ben Whittaker's going to make the adjustments and get the win. And I think he's going to get the win on points. But I think it's going to be a close. I think it's going to be a good fight. This really good fight. But I think I just can't see him. He took so much criticism for a fight that he didn't get a loss on. He basically, he came off as a loser, really, because everything that came with it. I think he wants to come out and and be different this time. I just think ideally for him, he'd come and make a massive statement and drop Liam Cameron, stop him. But Liam Cameron's a tough customer, so I think the stubbornness and everything that's come with it. I think that Liam Cameron will be, I say, too tough for his own good, but be a tough nut to crack. So that by the time Ben Whittaker, he's that tough, that the Ben Whittaker points win will be a good win because of the way that Cameron performs.
That's fair. That's a good analysis, to be honest, mate. Yeah, I agree. If Ben can do the 10 rounds, if he manages to do the 10 rounds, I think he gets the nod because his work is a lot more attractive than Liam Cameron's work. It is. Let's be honest. The showboating, the way he picks his shots, the single shots he does, sits down on them a lot. It's better to watch. It's the gas tank. I don't know if he can improve on that endurance, the lung capacity. I'm just not. I went back and watched it, and I'm even more convinced now that he can't do 10. Prove me wrong. I'm like you. I haven't got a dog in the fight. I do prefer Liam Cameron's attitude. He's a lot more laid back. I like the backstory and what he had the ban for recreational drugs. He lost his daughter again. I do. I'm a Liam Cameron fan. But when it comes to boxing, I don't really care who wins this one. Because, you do want to see fighters do well. Ben's been, we don't need to go over old ground, but he's supposed to be the next poster boy, if you like, after AJ. He's really doing, modelling in Milan and things like that. He's good looking. He's good on the mic. He can sell a fight. But in my opening gambit, he's no Prince Naz. To show off and be brash and do all that pouncing about in the ring, you've got to make a statement. And I just can't see him making a statement against Liam Cameron. Yeah. Because he wasn't showboating, but he was sitting down on his shots. He was, throwing the kitchen sink at Liam Cameron. And his shots just bouncing off his head. Yeah. So I'm gonna go Liam Cameron late, mate. I just don't think the gas tank. I don't think the gas tank's there. I
sort of changed my mind basically as I was talking to you, because I can see Liam Cameron. You can just see both scenarios in this fight. You just really can. And that's what makes these fights.
But sorry, I don't think Liam Cameron's going to hurt him. I just think he's going to be too. He can't carry on.
Wear him down. It's way to win the fight. We wear him down. Take him late. Yeah. And which is the way the first fight was going. I just don't think he'd be as. I just don't think Ben Whittaker could be as naive as to go and approach the second fight the same way. If he goes and does it, Dave.
If he goes and does that, there's literally no point going with Andy Lee. There's no point. Andy Lee taking 10% out. It might be easy work for Andy Lee. Well, I've come and I've shown him to do this, that, and the other. He's not implementing it. Thank you. I'll take that 10% and walk.
And you've got to remember as well. I think people seem to forget that the corner work to Ben Whittaker. Remember when they were telling him to do bits and pieces, and he was just looking. He wasn't listening.
Not listening. That's right. You're right there. I'm going to do what I do.
Yeah. He thinks he can just walk around, do all that stuff, and win fights. I just don't think he'll be as naive. There's been so much criticism put towards him in a fight that he didn't actually lose. Yes, did he spew it? Possibly, but you know what I mean. That there's something in there. You would have to put them extra. I'll talk about extra miles, and doing the extra runs, doing that. He would have to do. This will be personal to him for the hoo-ha that's come with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he would. You would have to train harder than ever before. So I just feel that he has to be better. But again, it makes it intriguing, and I'm looking forward to this. I really am.
Yeah. I won't be watching it, by the way, because I'll be on the karaoke getting pissed. But I'm looking forward to seeing it on the Monday. But yeah, I'm going Liam Cameron, mate. Late stoppage. I'm going round 9.
Perfect.
Around 9.
You could do round 11 earlier in the week, but
yeah, you could. Yeah, yeah. Also on the card, just quick before we start, we go and do our own thing. Big Fraser Clark's back, Dave. He's on this card. Obviously, we last saw him against Fabio Wardley with that disgusting knockout where his jaw looked out of place. It was quite worrying. He's in against Ebenezer Tete. Oh, Ebenezer, good. Just quickly, what do you make of this fight? Because don't get me wrong, Fraser Clark should have enough the Olympian kind of tag. But we saw Tete in with Dillian White not so long ago, and he throws shots from all over the place. Is it a good matchup for him? What do you make of him going in with Tete? We expect him to beat Tete, but he's a bit awkward, isn't he, Tete? He throws from all sorts of different kind of angles.
It's another one of them again. If he didn't fight Dillian White, he's nowhere near Fraser Clark. It's just like, he's been in with, okay, he's worthy. But listen, Fraser Clark's in a stage of his career where he can't, because he turned over late. He can't go back into face of going in with fighters that are not going to throw any punches. He's just going to blast out. So, yes, I expect him to win and win comfortably, but he needs to have shots thrown at him. Weird ones, because he's just...
Yeah, that's true.
The shot that he's took, he needs to take a couple of shots just to get his confidence in. No one wants to take shots, but you can't go in the water and not get wet. So he has to go in there and take a couple of shots just to get his confidence back to taking a shot. Because I thought he had a stroke when Fabio Wardley hit him. So he just, you just got to go in there. Because it would do him no favors if he goes in there, blast someone out in one round, which he could do anyway. But blast someone out in one round, not take any shots, go and then have another fight with an opponent that's a bit better, and then find out that you're still not comfortable. So I think him taking a couple of not to knock him out, but taking a couple of shots just to give him a little bit of confidence.
Yeah. I agree, mate. I totally agree. Sam Egerton's on this card. Obviously, he's a local lad, so he always gets a dance when it's up in the Midlands. Tyler Denny's looking to rebuild, which is nice to see. He's up at 168 on Saturday night. He's taken on Elvis Akora. Now, Elvis Akora, we saw this year in against Callum Simpson, and he kind of sort of stole the show. He was that mad African kid that wore the old army gear. He throws some all crazy angles as well, tough as they come, bit reckless.
He was tough, yeah.
Yeah, so he's in against Tyler Denny. That should be a good fight. I expect Tyler to have enough to kind of box.
The only issue I've got with that is Callum Simpson can punch. Tyler Denny doesn't carry too much power.
Yeah,
that guy was a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good fight, that, Dave.
I can see that going the distance. That.
Yeah. The only thing with with the African kid, he's very open, isn't he?
Yeah,
very open. But yeah, you are right.
He could be outpointed by Denny, no problem.
Oh yeah, that's what I expect to see.
I don't see Denny stopping him.
No, you're right. But two different styles there. So I think that even all the shit that's happened with Boxer this week and Ben, I think this card's still a lot more better than the one over in Sheffield on Saturday night, mate. But next week we've got the big one, if you like. The world are talking about Eubank Ben, which
I was looking at tickets for that Eubank Ben the other day. There's
some left there.
It's nowhere near a sellout, but there's still £45 tickets. I know it's my AJ Dubois sort of in the God sort of area, but
yeah,
I have been half tempted just to bang it on and go. But for me, I'm not a massive fan of the fight. I've got to be honest. I know.
No, it's the event, isn't it? It's the event, Dave. It's not so much the fight because it's a nothing fight, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's an event. It's a narrative. It's a rhetoric.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next week because
definitely.
Eubank Jr. stuck by his word with the fighters on the undercard of.
Oh, mate, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant what he's done there. How can the guy that's been, I wouldn't say hated, but for boxing reasons, losing pens and stuff like that, talking the talk, but never walk the walk, for what he's done this week by giving a percentage it looks like he was giving most people $4,000 to compensate them for, the fight. He's making Eddie look a cunt. Let's be totally honest. He's making Eddie, he must be 15-0 up. He's schooling Eddie. Because Eddie ain't come out and paid them nothing. Oh yes, we gave them opportunities on the next card, but they still lost money in training camp going into that fight. So mate, he's turned into a hero, Chris Eubank Jr. He really is. He's a very clever man. I've got to give him that. He's a very, very clever man. And obviously we saw the things which we'll talk about next week with his dad. That was quite upsetting.
Yeah.
What he was saying about Chris, and I understand his reasons for it, but it's your flesh and blood, and yeah, we'll break all that down next week. But yeah, let's just to end the week.
Right now, Eddie Scotty's had some weeks signed by MVP and given $4,000 by Eubank Jr. She's living the dream. She is.
She's living the dream, bless her. Yeah, fair fucks to her, man.
Yeah,
definitely filled in, isn't she, by Chris Eubank Jr. and Jake Paul at the same time?
Oh no,
Who were?
yeah.
Weekly wager, guys. Obviously, I went for Mullins of parlays last week against John Jett. Didn't happen, so nothing to come of that. There's £44 in the pot, still £44. I won the prediction league last week. So going by the rules, I'm going to pick this weekend. And I think I'm going to go for the first fight we previewed, Dave. Lenier Pero to knock out his opponent in 1 round. I think that's the safe bet to double our money for the charity of her choice.
Go Dalton Smith, but yeah, fair enough.
Yes, yeah. Oh God, yeah. No, I'm gonna go with Pero. I know what I'm getting from. Yeah, I know what I'm getting for Dalton Smith. Yeah, no, I'm gonna sit with Pero because if I go Dalton and Dalton does it in 2 and Pero does it in 1, I'm gonna blame you. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Lenier Pero. This guy's ranked 355 in the world, so yeah, Eddie's giving him for a reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm ranked 366.
There you go. You're his next opponent. You can make it anyway, couldn't you? So
well.
Right. What do we normally say now? Oh, we know what we're doing at the weekend. We're both going out on the piss, aren't we? So yeah. Have I forgot anything before we say goodbyes and fuck off? I think that's it, isn't it?
I think that's it,
Anything
mate.
else to add? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I'm going to wrap up now. End of episode 118. I'm going to go and have a bit of a wash, freshen up, take the kids swimming. Dave's going to have some jobs to do, repair his tyre, and then he's going to go out for the afternoon on the piss.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to carry on now to Bank Holiday Monday. A lot of boxing to get. Yeah, go on, mate. I'm waffling. Go on.
No, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying.
Yeah. So I'll stop the waffle now, and I'll love you and leave you. And everyone go and have a great Easter, because we certainly will be. And we'll be back on Monday for a review episode, and then obviously we'll be back on the Wednesday or Thursday to break down Eubank Jr. versus Ben. And on the following Monday, we've got Mr. J Murphy coming back onto the pod with me and Dave to literally break down what happened on that Saturday night. I'm going to throw a bit of Marlon de Parles versus John Jett in as well. So until then, guys, as I just said, have a great Easter. Stay safe and enjoy the bloody boxing. Dave, peace out, brother, and take care.
Take care, mucker.